bet he's a long ways away from the hole.
Up close and personal with a prairie rattlesnake. Such is the life of Dan Fogel.
I don't know at what point I became infatuated with rattlesnakes. I can't understand why there's not a snake sitting right here.
So infatuated, Dan Fogel goes looking for a snake most of us hope we never find.
I've always been infatuated with snakes in general, and I think rattlesnakes because people despise them so much, because people fear them so much. There's a rush when you see one. You know, as soon as you see it, you walk around and you look at this rock pile and this rock pile and this burrow and this burrow, and you see nothing. And then all of a sudden, when you see one, there's a rush. Got one? Sweet. And you can feel it. You can feel your heart. It's just an adrenaline rush. Just the only one?
That's the only one I've seen so far.
All right. Stay there for a second.
But Dan Fogel's search for prairie rattlesnakes is not just another snake hunting trip. These are the Los Hills of western Iowa, specifically a preserve known as the Broken Kettle Grasslands. The Los Hills also are the last stand for the prairie rattlesnake, one of Iowa's most endangered species.
It's the only population in Iowa that we know of, and it's the easternmost population in the United States that's known as well. Right now we're finding him in about 70 acres of hibernaculum area. Did you check that other hole down there?
Not yet.
Scott Moats of the Nature Conservancy oversees a 3,000-acre prairie preserve owned by the Conservancy to, in part, provide a safe haven for prairie rattlers and a site to study their habits.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then there are 2 right at the very end that this is missing.
We originally contracted out with Dan to do some research on the rattlesnakes, so we knew the population size, some of their movements, reproduction, hibernaculum sites, things like that.
670 millimeters. He's an old friend.
He loves his snakes.
I'm excited. Can you tell how excited I am? They're interesting because they're survivors. They're animals that are already underdogs because they've got no limbs, but yet they still can climb trees. They still can swim. They're all carnivores, and so they have to catch prey,
50.
subdue it, and then swallow it without the use of limbs. 59. Shake, rattle, roll.
A biology teacher for Southeast Community College in Nebraska, Dan Fogel has been tracking Iowa's prairie snakes for more than 5 years.
471 grams. Once we catch them, we're measuring them, we're taking their total measurement, their length, just about 33 inches. We get their weights, we count the number of rattles on their rattle string, 8 rattle segments. And then we insert a passive transponder. It's like a microchip that people put into the dogs.
With the chip inserted, each snake then becomes an individual contributor to the life and times of Iowa's endangered prairie rattlesnake.
This is kind of a unique population because they're so disjunct, separated from the western population.
Some would say, why save a creature capable of a fatal poisonous bite?
Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. The only people who get bit by rattlesnakes are people who mess with them. So you want to hold the tube and the snake at the same time?
Yeah.
If the snake starts to back up, hold them a little bit tighter.
The folks who manage Iowa's prairie don't have to be convinced.
Yeah, I'm not exactly a snake person, but I've been around Dan for quite a long time, and you know, when he's handling them, it's great. If I'm walking around the hill slope on my own, I'm a lot more cautious, and you know, I don't really want to necessarily find one myself.
Ready?
Yep.
465 908 151 B. 151B. That reminds me of rum. Bacardi. 151 Bacardi.
Rum, you say? Pour me a double.
Yep. Nice jump. I'm impressed.
Impressed? The rest of us scared to death.